This conference will now be recorded.
Thank you. Okay, this is Bill O'Brien, 9th District Councilman and Chairman of the Parks and Rec Committee, calling to order the February 3rd, 2022 Parks and Rec meeting. And welcome back, Aileen, as our secretary. Welcome back, returning members, and welcome aboard, Tim Sepatelli, and our ad hoc member over there. What's her name? Mia. Tim, why don't you, real quick, I think most people here, I think, know you, but why don't you just real quick give a little bio about yourself, what you're doing these days.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Tim Sepatelli, lifelong Stratford resident, minus a few departures here and there. I have a degree in movement and sports studies. I work at Wakeman Boys and Girls Club in Fairfield, where I've been for, this is my 20th year there as a director. I'm a soccer referee for Bill, and I got certified in '93, I think. Play soccer in Stratford still, coach at Sterling House. I've worked at the Y, worked at the rec department way back in my past. So got three young boys that love everything about the town, and I'm happy to be here. So thank you.
Thanks. I think a great addition to the committee, and actually you were recommended by Laura Hoydick, so I'm glad you were able to join us. And could I have a motion to approve the minutes of December 2nd, 2021?
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes. This is Rick Marcone.
Paul Hoydick, I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Any opposed? Thanks, passes unanimously. And we're going to skip Chad for the moment and let Amy give her report.
Thank you, everyone. Amy Knorr, Superintendent Recreation. I was just couldn't remember the last time I'd been on a Park and Rec meeting, so I'm happy to be back. So we're doing all of our winter programs, our full swing, our February programs. We are mostly at the Baldwin Center at night and a little bit at Bird's Eye doing girls basketball. Things are going well. We have a couple new programs. We started a ping pong and pool program, which has been going real well. We got a bunch of kids signed up for the next session. We're swimming. We're doing a lot of swimming lessons up at Ella, only at Ella. And we're sharing Ella currently with the YMCA, who is having a pool issue. We're also allowing them, thanks to the Board of Ed, to use Flood for their swim team. And I just recently certified, I ran a lifeguard training class. I certified 6 brand new lifeguards who will all be working for us this summer. All high school kids, which I'm very excited about. And I'll be doing a recert class for my current lifeguards in May when they're all home from college. So we should be really good to go with lifeguards for the summer. And that's really it. There's not a lot going on. Everything else is pretty good. We're doing our Booth Park, rentals are still going strong. People are already starting to rent Short Beach for the summers and getting, all their events in. But so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. If anyone has any questions, feel free.
Amy, this is Bill. I don't know if this is for you or for Chad, but do you know what the latest plan is for relining the Bird's Eye courts?
That would be me. So what happened is that they had a whole plan all set. They were going to come in, reline the whole gym floor. They got in there and they started to peel up the tape that had been put down for the pickleball players, and it was not coming up easily. The glue was really sticking to the floor, and it was taking the guys, it took them a long time even to do one line. So they decided they better stop because it was going to be outside of what the bid was. So they left the floor as it was, and I don't know where the latest is. Last I heard, they were tweaking the bid, and they were going to have to go back and get approval because it was going to cost a lot more than they had originally planned. So I explained that to the pickleball players and to the basketball teams that unfortunately, you're not going to get a nice new floor and you're going to have to wait, and the town is still continuing to work on it. So we're hopeful, but I don't know at this point when it's going to be done, but they are working on it.
Oh, thanks. And then I have
Mhm.
to say, you mentioned the rentals. I have to thank you again and let everybody know that you came up with this idea for our golf tournament fundraiser in September to use the area near the
Oh, yep.
concession stand, which is a great idea. And that might be good for future rentals too.
I think when it's like you're in September, so it's not, the beach won't be crowded. I
Right.
think it's a great idea to do that for other events for sure.
Yeah, once the concession closes down.
Right, and even before before Memorial Day and after Labor Day, that's definitely an option. That's a nice area.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions?
You're welcome.
If not, thanks, Amy. Have a safe trip, and Chad is up.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to my son's basketball game, so I'll talk to y'all later. If you have any other questions, just if Aileen can't answer them, just you can call me back. Thanks,
Okay.
guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, go Brady.
Yeah, thank you.
Esposito, Park Superintendent for Town of Stratford. Amy's report was very concise and precise. We don't really have that much going on with all the snow, and the Christmas tree pickup is done now. So we're just concentrating on when snowstorms come up, some routine maintenance here. They're picking up sticks before snowfall, working on trees before snowfall. We're getting our seasonal stuff ready, equipment, machinery, and everything for this coming. Which fields are going to be used, which ones need work, and kind of going through our inventory, which we do now when there's no snow on the ground, but there's snow on the ground. So, we're just kind of just staying through on our off-season duties.
And then did you want to talk about the tennis courts now too at Longbrook?
I really don't have any information. All I know is that on February 24th is when the hearing is, the public hearing for the trees. Other than that, I don't really know anything else about the tennis courts.
So those drawings that Renee sent out to us, are we still considering maybe going with one of the other options?
I can't answer that, Bill. I'm not sure.
Okay.
It really depends on how the public hearing goes and all of that stuff. I don't have an answer.
Bill, the reason for that is we just wanted Chad to touch base with it. When you guys approved this back in, I want to say maybe September or October, she had wanted, and this commission and the Longbrook Park Commission, she wanted me to, and Carol Cabral, who does Longbrook, to have attached the drawings for the public to see to the minutes, which at this point, it was done. So I couldn't now attach them to those minutes. So by Chad discussing, we're going to put Longbrook Tennis Courts February 24th public hearing, and then I can attach those drawings to the minutes, and then GQ Public will be able to see them. And I would assume probably eliminate a lot of the phone calls that Chad and Renee must be getting want to know about them.
Okay, thanks. Anybody else have any questions for Chad? Wow, that was quick.
But I could talk about one more thing, because we are dealing with snow, and there is, a couple new members to this committee. Usually how the snow water goes, in a public works operation is always streets first, public safety buildings during that street time to keep those open and operational during storms. Then, Parks Division goes into schools, and then from schools we go into parks. And that includes, sidewalks, crosswalks, Paradise Green, all of these different parks and sidewalks, and ones that are essential for crossovers and for person or walking pedestrians, like the upper loop on Longbrook Pond and that kind of stuff. So, if you guys if the counselors get calls or whatever the case is, when is this going to get done? When is this going to get done? Usually parks, type material is either 24 to 48 hours after the storm. This past storm, it was a 24-hour storm. So we had a 15, 16-hour cleanup, then another 15, 16 hours in parks. I'm sorry, in schools. And then we were going to parks. And that's why we got to, parks around Tuesday. So it was a long, grueling storm on this one. But just in case if anybody wanted to know like what our protocol was, or just to keep that in mind, during the snow season.
And what is it,
Thanks,
Chad?
Chad.
We have like 400 miles of roads.
Yeah, 400 miles of roads and probably 1,000 miles of sidewalks.
Yeah. Town buildings and everything
Lots
else.
and all that stuff. And
Chad,
school
roads-
parking
roads
lots.
look good. Roads look good from what I saw, so thank you for the work of your crew. One somewhat related question, which may or may not be for this committee or for you. Sledding at Bunnell High School, the back hill. I've been there the last 2 snowstorms. I was there last year. They moved the fencing, I think, to accommodate the new football practice field on the outfield of the baseball field. The movement of that fence has created a really dangerous condition for sledding on the top half of that hill. I've been there twice and seen many, many kids going down who do not see the first time down. You don't realize how close the fence is and exactly how dangerous it is. I just didn't know if that falls within your area at all for signage there, or if that's really a Board of Ed issue. I go with my boys and we go walk halfway down the hill towards the concession stand, and then we go sledding, and it's great over there. But the other part, I've seen the ambulance was called the other day for kids that got stuck in the fence. I've seen kids get come near to getting head collisions on the poles. My own son hit the fence. It's really a cool place, but really scary.
That's a great question. I'm a former golf course superintendent, and we allowed nobody on our hills. We would put up snow fencing on hills just for the pure fact of insurance. So that's a great question to have. That could probably start with this commission as an agenda item. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. I saw that when I was there. I even saw it. I live across the street from Booth Park, and even walking over with my daughter, the speeds were so fast. They were almost going into the bathroom and the aluminum railing from the bathroom at the bottom of the hill. So we had talked about doing either some temporary fencing, but temporary fencing kids can knock down. So it would either be a hard fencing that gets frozen into the ground so nobody can remove it, and just not allow sledding there anymore. But that would have to come from this commission, or either this commission to make a recommendation to town council to abandon sledding there because of the dangerous situation, because of what's going on. But I'll let Bill weigh it into it and see what you think.
Yeah, I remember for a number of years it was banned at Booth Park, and I think they used to enforce it, right, Paul?
Well, they did, and then once it went to the attorneys, and the attorneys said, we can't really ban it because it doesn't really matter if you slip on a town street or gets hurt sledding. The town's going to get sued no matter what. So they opened it back up for sledding.
Yeah, I think my thought would just be for signage of warning. That would be helpful there, because you don't realize until you've gone down once how dangerous it is. But it could be done fine and safely if you know what you're getting into.
I know driving by Booth, it looked like a tremendous number of cars there, I guess mostly for sleigh riding, right? Even Flood, I went by Flood, and I never saw it so crowded, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
As somebody who loved sledding as a kid, I hate to ban sledding.
No,
We were
I
fortunate.
don't think that's the solution at Bunnell either, but it's just a matter of, you don't realize how dangerous it is until you've gone down. And if you've gone down and hit that fence the wrong way, then, an ambulance is getting called.
Even signage and stuff like that, nobody's going to read the signage. Nobody's going to realize how apparent it is until you realize how much speed you have where you are. So that's something that we'd have to discuss. I'd have to talk with, my my director and see if we could come up with something. Maybe there's a netting type person, or to slow a speed down, or a bag, or, you know, something to put in front of that areas to make it less, you know, less dangerous.
Yeah,
Hey,
someone who
Chad.
lost every single week that gets disregarded. I understand exactly what you're talking about. But I do see that fence is already completely torn apart in the bottom.
Hey, Paul, you had something?
Yeah, Chad, how about hay bales around the dangerous areas?
The only problem I see with hay bales is if it's raining like this and they get saturated, they could freeze and become blocks of ice. You know, extreme. I'm thinking extreme, but you know, that's the only thing I could see that you might have a problem, that it would become frozen.
I didn't realize they still use Bunnell Hill because it become so overgrown. I didn't think it was good for sleigh riding anymore. Maybe that's an answer too, to just let that area be overgrown. Well, actually, when we were kids, that was the best spot for sleigh riding because it was wide open. You know, it's not like it is today. Bring back the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
Well, I guess why don't we make it an agenda item, and we'll talk about it some more in the future. Thanks, Tim, for bringing that up.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. I'll do some research and see if there's anybody who has anything like that in surrounding and see if there's any kind of outcry or outreach for it.
Thank you.
Oh, Chad, getting back to the roads for a minute, the only whining I heard about the last snowstorm, social media whining, was about the alternate side of the street parking causing problems. But that's not your problem, right? Isn't that the police?
Yeah, that's the police and ticketing and going through that. Yeah. It's always something that we have to deal with, trying to move, calling cops, towing cars. It's a fiasco, but it's theirs problem.
All right, thanks. If there's nothing else, we'll go on to new business. Chad, you saw the email from Greg about the, what was it, perennial gardens? He said you and Kelly have talked somewhat about it.
Yeah, last night, two ladies gave a presentation for pollinator gardens. And there's a bunch of logistics to go through before this kind of goes through, size, scope, what's requested of the town, what's going to be granted from the town, who's going to do the cleanup, is it going to be straight volunteers, who's doing watering, who's getting the plants, and who's going to take care of it for the long run. Because, what I've talked about before, and I've tried to do this before over by Tide Harbor in that area by Birdseye Boat Ramp, is I tried to do Little Blue Stem, and I tried to do poverty grass, and I tried to do these, environmentally conscious areas that are supposed to hold water and do this stuff. And, the bottom line is people think it's unkempt. If it's not mowed, it's unkempt. You're bringing in this, you're bringing in rodents, so these butterfly gardens are the same thing. I love them. I think they're beautiful, but there's going to be some opposition because they are kind of weeds and it is kind of messy and it's not, mulched and everything. So, Greg kind of fired that email off, immediately, and it was really just informational stuff. So there's a bunch of stuff that we have to talk about. Kelly asked for native plants, which they supplied native plants, which is fantastic. They thought of 6 locations that could work. So we have to iron out a location. Then we have to iron out a size. Then we have to iron out how they're going to get watering because, once they're established after the first year, they're self-sufficient. They're complete perennials. But that first season, that establishment period, somebody has to take care of it. If it's far enough away from the road, I really don't have access to hoses that long and all that stuff to get water to them. So then therefore strategic placement. We already take care of thousands of acres of square foot in town of plant and plant material. This would just be another addition. They're talking about do this in multiple places at multiple properties. Now does it become Public Works and then we assume all of this responsibility? So, you know, the initial talk was good, but there's a lot to work on.
And I agree with those that feel this should not become another responsibility of the Public Works Department. And there's some great examples of volunteer efforts throughout town, like in Lordship and at the Shakespeare property, and even some neighborhoods I've seen where people just kind of adopt a corner and do things. So I think
Yeah.
it should be primarily a volunteer effort.
Yeah, so I mean, we're all for it. Kelly and I are all for it, and we just have to figure out how to make it work, how the cogs are and the wheels are going to spin to make it work. So, you know, they're trying to do it for this year, and it's a wholehearted effort, but we don't know, you know, because everything has to be lined out, everything has to be approved, everything has to go through the administrations. It's a long way away. And a lot of these plants, because they're perennials and all of that stuff, and they're grown in nurseries and they'll get very, very small plants, they're not available until like April 31st or May. You know, so the plants are available late in the season, not really now. So it's a long process, you know, so we've got a lot to figure out.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for the update. Okay, I guess if there's no other new business, anybody? Then next meeting will be Thursday, March 3rd, 6 p.m. And with that, let's see, Rick, you're usually good for this.
If Rick's not going to
Wait.
do it, I'm going to do it. Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Paul.
I second the motion, Drew.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you.
Oh,
Meeting
sweet.
adjourned at, what time is it? 6:23 p.m.
6:23.
Wow.
Thanks.
Thank you.